Hi guys, today we're going to do a art journal page anyway. For starters, we're using homemade alcohol sprays made from 99% rubbing alcohol and Liquitex acrylic inks. Nothing else. Easily make them at home. We're using green, yellow, a little more green, and if you let them dry and you spray them over with opposite colors, so like the reds and the oranges and yellow, or blues anyway, or purples anyway, they won't schmutz and turn brown too much. I purposely splattered that to make it kind of bloody looking. I'm hunting for a stencil, and I decide on the one from Heidi Swapp. The putty I'm using is stuff you buy at a local hardware store. The brand is DAP and it's called Fast and Final Lightweight Spackle. The reason why I use it is because it dries relatively quick compared to like modeling paste and stuff like that, which I like to use too. I just kind of mix it up a little. Here you see I'm just scratching off the messed up edges on it. Scraping them off, making it neat the way I want it to look anyway. And decided I wanted a little bit more. Spread it around. Nick off the edges. Easy. And debating on letting it dry or drying it with a heat gun. Ultimately, I end up using the heat gun. And here we go. Be glad I have this on just overdub. That was loud. Dry enough. And then I go and get some tissue paper, just generic tissue paper from Michaels, and matte medium from Liquitex. I believe. Yes, Liquitex. So, cleaning off the brush, getting it ready to use to spread the Liquitex matte medium. Using the matte medium kind of like decoupage glue. It works the same, it dries matte. It's much thinner. Tearing up the tissue paper into smaller pieces, separating them into color piles. Dating. I'll use it later. And spreading that out, I smooshed the spackle all over the place and it lost its texture down there. It wasn't dry enough. I guess I should have let it dry longer. I'm placing the tissue paper shiny side down. I don't know if you ever realized that tissue paper has a shiny side and a flat side. The shiny side down purposely so that it won't have all that tough of a time for the alcohol sprays to stick to it, which I use next after this. Just laying them down gently and working them into the grooves of the texture that I made with the spackle and the stencil. That's all I'm doing here. And repeat. Dab, dab, dab. That's how you get it to go in there without smushing down the pattern. Gently go in the direction of the pattern, or let it dry fully first. That always helps. And just keep adding more layers. More layers and more layers. Not worrying about wrinkles too much, as I know that when I get to the green I'm going to intentionally wrinkle it. But for now, we're just doing base color. Tissue paper also kind of turns clear when you add glue to it, so it has kind of a stained glass type of effect. You see me pushing it around and making it rip. Aiming for wrinkles and crinkles. Just smush, smush, smushing, and it rips a little more. I kind of like it at first. Decide I'll stick with that and just keep smushing it around. Doing the wrinkles for texture and depth. Didn't get much wrinkle on that one. A whole bunch of wrinkle on that one. Decided I didn't really like the torn spots too much, so I covered them up. Smush, smush, smush. Easy peasy. Not an exact science. Slap some glue down, slap some tissue paper down, smush it around. Easy peasy. And just keep making it into smaller and smaller pieces as I go. Just because it's too big and I'll cover the whole darn page in one shot and it won't look right. And a couple more. At this point I've given up on trying to keep the texture of the paste from before, but it's still there some. That is a black metallic spray made with mica eyeshadow and a binder and rubbing alcohol. And I'm just splattering it all over the page so there's spots of a dark glare because it obviously won't spray. The hole was clogged and very hard to unclog. There's some more in a different color. That one is a brown one. And that is an Adirondack alcohol ink in green. I forget which color green, sorry. I use all of them at some point here. We'll see. Dab, dab, dab. Not so heavy. And there's some more alcohol inks from Adirondack. Notice that I did not let it dry before I started this, and now I'm drying it. The reason for that is the alcohol inks will spread better on the wet glue or paint. And then I spray it with a little bit of straight 99% alcohol to help it smear a little. And dry it. Not fully, but you know, just some. Waiting my next move. That is a Heidi Swapp bronze spray. Really pretty stuff. Dry it a little. Drive it back a little bit. Some more Adirondack alcohol inks. Dry it a little more. It's just a heat gun used for like doing embossing and stuff like that. And move it out of the way and let it dry. This next step involves torn up dryer sheets, a little banner from, I think, Chillingsworth Manor paper pack for scrapbooking, but I could be wrong on that. And that is just a plain piece of cardstock scrap left over from Lord knows what project. I'm just cutting down the edges. So a 1/4 inch by the looks of it. Not exact again, just remotely neat. And that is a Crop-A-Dile corner punch, and it is ticket stub, I think, or stub it's called. It's got 2 sides on it. Those are pieces of sequins that were found on the floor at work. A coworker's shirt broke, like the string snapped, and they were all over the place, so I saved them because they were pretty. They're very iridescent, but you can't really see that on the camera. I'm just using Tim Holtz Distress Ink in black to ink the edges of that a little bit, give it interest color. And that is a box of broken and or useless costume jewelry, which I am picking parts out of to use on this layout. And that is the most gaudy necklace ever. But I thought it would look good if I distressed it some and made it into a focal point. That's just a piece of butcher paper that I'm using to spray on. Or freezer paper anyway, from Reynolds Wrap. And then we pull out all the distress inks to work on this. So I squirt some on there, I rub it around, and then I pick another color and do it again, again. Just keep layering on the color, let it dry a little bit, dab, 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 smooch it around, basically. And the reason why I'm using the dryer sheet to do it is because I'm going to use the dryer sheet in a little while and color that in anyway, so no big deal. Yes, I know that is the back of that thing, but I always do the backs of anything that's going to stick up off the page because there's always potential to see it and you got to do something with it instead of leaving it plain white and boring. Especially when the whole entire rest of the thing is not plain white in any manner. And that's just the black currant, I think, or grape, something like that. Adirondack alcohol ink. And a little red around the edges. That's the black currant. And dab, dab, dab. A little bit more green on the front. That one is citrus, I think. It's like a lime color. Putting them away and deciding on what colors to use on the dryer sheets. I decided on blue and purple and green, I think. Oh no, gold. Or orange, anyway. Kind of make them moldy looking. Bruised and battered. And I'm smushing them around on there to pick up the different colors that were already used on that page, on that back piece. Gives them a little more of a muddy color, which is what I was aiming for. Let them dry a little. Sorry for making you watch paint dry. Alright, back to business. Set this all aside. Grab all of our little bits and pieces here. A couple more for good measure. Deciding on what pieces I want to use. Right. So I have 3 dryer sheet pieces, which I gotta figure out how to use, because it's the first time I've ever used them as anything in a spread. So I glue the 2 smaller ones to this backer piece. The backer piece is just another scrap of cardstock. I just kind of accordion folded it on there. Checking to make sure it fits. Moving it out a little. Add a little more glue, glue my fingers down, and do it again. And then I just hold them down. And put glue all over the back of the banner and glue that down as well. Pressing it down as hard as I can and holding it in place. Using Scotch quick dry glue so it doesn't take very long. Here off screen I'm just snipping the edges of the dryer sheet to make it look a little more ragged. That was the raw edge, or the edge that wasn't torn. And deciding where to put it. There, like that. Deciding if I want to use ribbon or anything. I was going to use brads and then I decided against them. Put them back. I'm using Miracle Tape from Viva Las Vegas Stamps to hold down the base piece of dryer sheet. Then just put that kind of askew. On purpose, snip the edges a little, make them more ragged. Anywhere that they look too neat and clean. Again, Miracle Tape and a 1/2 inch to hold down the banner piece. Miracle Tape is what's considered an aggressive tape. It'll hold almost anything down. I purposely put that more askew from the bottom dryer sheet so it wouldn't hide it. Now I'm gluing down the sequins. Dab of glue, stick a sequin on. Easy as that. Again, I'm using Scotch Quick Dry, which I'm letting squirt up through the holes in the sequins purposely so they'll stay in place. I'm just kind of putting them on there randomly, aiming for the splots of ink because I figured, why not? I screamed for them. Should have used tweezers for this whole process. It would have been a little bit easier. Now I am taking a off screen again. Pokey tool from We Are Memory Keepers and rolling the edges of this mini banner on it just to give it some interest. And again with the two longer strips to make streamer type of thing. Just to hang down and cover that little plain area. And I'm doing a second streamer anyway. It's kind of overlapping a little bit, but not all the way down. And then I noticed that the edges of that were coming up some, probably from all the wet glue. That pen didn't work, so I'm thinking, Jelly Roller, yes. That is a pen called a Jelly Roll. It's just white. Using some Scotch Quick Dry to hold down the bits that aren't staying down. And weighting them down with other bottles. I used Beacon Quick Grip Glue to hold down the chevron. It's very good glue. It holds anything to anything. And again, weighting it down with a bottle. And after that all dried, now we're making fake stitch marks on the edge of the banner. And then little X's like this was, these banners or streamers were sewn down. Doop, 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 doop. Easy peasy. And then I just went crazy and drew a bunch more lines. Here I thought I was done, and I looked at it for a few minutes and changed my mind. So now we're back with gold, bright gold, iridescent bright gold acrylic ink from Liquitex to make drips. Sorry, it's off screen. I couldn't figure any other way to hold it to get it to drip right. And still dripping. can almost see the last page I did. See, look good. I tried to record it and failed to hit the record button on that one. What are you gonna do? And voila, there's the finished product. Just spraying it with a little bit more glitter spray, and that one was a gold one called Sunrise or something. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.